The first sword was not invented by a human blacksmith. The first shield was not designed by a human general. History books tell us that civilization evolved slowly, from stone to bronze to iron. But the Book of Enoch tells a different story. It speaks of a sudden explosion of knowledge, a technological shock brought down from the stars. And the entity responsible for this was not a monster, but a teacher. His name was Azazel. Azazel was one of the leaders of the Watchers. While others sought pleasure, Azazel sought influence. He wanted to remake humanity in his image. Enoch chapter 8 says, Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates. Before him, humans fought with sticks and stones. After him, they fought with cold steel. But he didn't stop there. He taught women the art of making up the eyes and of beautifying the eyelids and of using precious stones. He weaponized vanity just as he weaponized metal. He gave humanity the tools to destroy each other and the desire to do it. He was the Prometheus of the dark, bringing a fire that would burn the world down. The result was immediate and catastrophic. With the new weapons, wars became industrialized. Killing became efficient. Tribes that possessed Azazel's knowledge wiped out those that did not. The earth was no longer a garden, it was a battlefield. The text says, "And there was much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways." It was an infection of the soul. Imagine the scene, entire cities burning, fueled by the secrets Azazel had whispered. The innocence of mankind was gone forever. Azazel watched it all, perhaps with a sense of twisted accomplishment. He had elevated the monkeys to the level of destroyers, but he had broken the prime directive of heaven. He had interfered with the natural order. The cries of the victims, those cut down by Azazel's swords, rose up to the throne. They didn't cry for mercy, they cried for justice. The balance of the universe was tipped. The corrupted limb of humanity needed to be amputated, and God called for the surgeon.
God summoned Raphael. His name, Raphael, implies God has healed. Usually, Raphael is associated with medicine, with curing blindness, with binding wounds. But sometimes, to heal a body, you must cut out the cancer. You must be ruthless to be kind. God did not ask Raphael to reason with Azazel. The corruption was too deep. The specific order given in Enoch 10:4 is one of the most specific containment protocols in ancient literature. God said to Raphael, "Bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Duel, and cast him therein." This was not a death sentence. Angels cannot easily die. This was a sentence of isolation. Raphael was tasked to take the most intelligent, sophisticated, and dangerous entity on Earth and neutralize him. He had to capture the father of weapons. Raphael descended, not with a spear like Gabriel, but with chains of divine binding. He was entering the desert, the domain of the demon, to execute the first Black Ops extraction in history.
The confrontation took place in Duel, a jagged, rocky wasteland known as the Cauldron of God. Azazel was waiting. He was not a mindless beast like the Nephilim. He was a master tactician. He likely used every weapon he had invented against Raphael. Imagine the scene, Azazel wielding swords of dark energy, using shields that deflected holy light. He mocked Raphael. "You think you can stop progress? I gave them power.
I made them like us. But Raphael was the antidote to Azazel's poison. Where Azazel brought chaos, Raphael brought restoration. Raphael did not fight with anger, he fought with absolute focus. He moved through Azazel's defenses like water. Every strike Azazel made was parried, not by force, but by a higher law. Raphael recited the binding spells, the words that lock spirit into matter. Step by step, he cornered the fallen prince. He stripped him of his armor, his weapons, and his pride. Finally, the healer laid his hands on the destroyer. The chains of light wrapped around Azazel's limbs, burning his corrupt flesh, locking his joints rigid. The teacher of war was silenced.
The final act of this tragedy is pure horror. Raphael dragged the bound Azazel to the opening in the desert. The pit was deep, filled with jagged, sharp rocks specifically created to tear flesh. Azazel looked up one last time, perhaps realizing the eternity of his sentence. Raphael pushed him in. The sound of the fallen angel hitting the rocks echoed from the deep. But Raphael wasn't done. The order was to cover him with darkness. Raphael rolled massive, rough stones over the opening. He sealed the pit with divine seals. Not a single ray of sunlight would ever touch Azazel again. Enoch says, "And cover his face that he may not see light. And on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire." By burying Azazel, Raphael healed the earth. He quarantined the source of the infection. The technology of death remained with humans, but the teacher was gone. Beneath the desert sands of Duel, Azazel waits, blind and bound, listening to the footsteps of the history he destroyed. The cleanup was underway. The monsters were dead, Gabriel. The leader was imprisoned, Raphael. But the corruption had stained the very soul of the planet. There was only one way to wash it clean. In the next episode, the sky turns black. The final solution begins: the flood.